Hello, my dear friends. Welcome to the second episode of our series on Saint Joseph. In this episode, we will talk about Joseph, Jesus, and Herod. Now, last episode, I said that Joseph was actually the rightful, a king in, shall we say, a king, a hidden king. He was in the line of kings. He is a royalty, but he is someone who did not have any pretensions to the throne of David. Now, today we will be discussing someone who is a pretender king, someone who is not a rightful heir of the house of David, but he was actually occupying the kingship. And that is, of course, Herod the Great. And he actually named his sons as Herods. So we have Herod Antipas, Herod Antipater, and so on and so forth. Now, who is Herod? We know that he is a puppet king of the Roman emperor. Pero the Roman emperor allowed Herod a leeway, much freedom on how he will rule the Roman province of Judea, as long as he pays tribute to the Roman emperor. And that is something that we can see in terms of the political system of the Roman Empire. They would conquer a land, and if that particular land and peoples are submissive to Rome, they would allow them to flourish. And they would just set, for example, a puppet king, and they will measure the loyalty of such puppet kings in terms of the tributes and the taxes. As long as the money flows to Rome, these puppet kings can do whatever he wants in his particular area of governance. And that's the way, at the time, the Roman Empire works. No? And it proves to be, efficient, and it proves also effective for the intentions and the interests of the Roman emperors. Now, Herod was an Idumean. And what is an Idumean? Well, they live in that part of the land called Edom in the Old Testament, and maybe in the New Testament it's called now Idumea. They are the descendants of Esau. And remember, Esau is actually the brother of Jacob. Herod is actually a descendant of Esau. He is not a real Jew. He is not a real Israelite, because those that are real Jews or real Israelites are the descendants of Jacob, not of Esau. And therefore, when Herod became the king of Judea, of the Roman province of Judea, the Israelites did not accept him as the rightful ruler, precisely because he was an Idumean. In other words, Herod, although he has real power, is just merely a pretender to the house of David. He does not belong to the house of David. And here, Joseph, who is supposed to be the rightful descendant of David and a rightful heir to the throne, has no pretensions whatsoever. And that is a study in contrast between Saint Joseph and Herod, and King Herod. Herod is not the rightful heir. He is not even a true Israelite. He is a descendant of Esau. But he pretended to be the rightful ruler of Judea, of the Jews. On the other hand, we have Joseph, who is a descendant of David, a rightful heir to the throne, but made no pretensions to the throne. Okay, any pretenders would always be insecure. And that is really very obvious in Herod. He was so insecure that he would even kill his own beloved wife, Mariame. Now, according to the writings of Josephus in his Antiquities, we have there an entry that says, Herod killed his own wife, Mariame. But take note, Herod did not abhor Mariame, he loved her. But when Mariame just said something about the lineage of Herod, Herod was so insecure being a pretender to the throne, although he has real political power at the time, doesn't have any qualms to kill his own beloved wife. And the rest is history. He killed Mariame. And not only Mariame, but even his sons, by the name Alexander and Aristobulus. Alexander and Aristobulus did not hate their father. They loved him in some sense, or maybe respected and even feared him. And they just made some comments. They just made some comments against Herod. It's not even a show of disloyalty or even a plot to unseat Herod. It was just some, the usual comments that you would even unintentionally blurt out. He ordered Alexander and Aristobulus to be brought to Sebaste and to be strangled. He killed his own sons. And this is the reason now why it is not something of, you will not be surprised if the killing of the innocents, as already mentioned in Matthew, will be ordered by such a kind of a man as Herod, the King Herod. He would even kill his own wife. He would even kill his own sons. What would stop him from killing the sons of other people whom he doesn't care? So, and more so, to show the tyranny and the evil of Herod, because he knew that although he was the one building a lot of infrastructures in Judea, just like the temple, the fortress in Masada, and so on and so forth, and many other beautiful works like the Herodium, the Jews hated Herod precisely because he is not the rightful king. And because he knew that no one will mourn his death, that the entire kingdom will even rejoice when he dies, he ordered that in every household, one person will be killed on the day of his death, so that when he dies, the entire kingdom will be mourning, not of course for him, but there will be wailing and mourning because in each household, somebody was killed. Of course, when he died, it was not carried out, but still, it shows and it gives us a glimpse of how evil Herod is. And so therefore, with this kind of a character, we may even say that although the massacre of the innocents is actually a kind of a typology or even a midrashic commentary, almost along that line, of the killing of the infants in Exodus, time that the sons of the Israelite women are being killed. And that's why Moses was even endangered because of this order of Pharaoh. And he was saved because Miriam, his sister, brought him to the daughter of Pharaoh. Some scholars would say that the massacre of the innocents actually reflects that which happened in Exodus, in the book of Exodus, with the killing of the innocents there of the sons of Israel, to show that Jesus is the new Moses. But even if this is true and correct, it does not negate that the killing of or the massacre of the innocents was ordered by Herod can be historically plausible. Or in other words, There's, although there is, maybe it's not as widespread as mentioned in the Gospel of Matthew, but there might be a possibility wherein Herod ordered the killing of these young children, of these young sons. No? What is the hero that we know? A complete contrast to that of Saint Joseph. So what is the connection with this in terms of our study of who Saint Joseph is? So, Jesus, when he was born, the Magi went to the palace. In other words, the Magi knew, or from their own study of whatever that is, maybe the stars or whatever, they knew that the King of the Jew will be born. And so, logically, if you're looking for a king, you go to a palace. And that's what they did. They went to the palace of Herod and asked Herod, in their naivety, or maybe because they were innocent of the real intentions of Herod, they asked, where is the King of the Jews to be born? Where is, in other words, they're looking for the King of the Jews, and where is he? It's a slap against the face of this pretender to the throne, Herod the Great, or King Herod the First. And so Herod, of course, being this shrewd ruler that he is, pretended to be concerned, pretended to be anxious also of where the King of the Jews is going to be born. And so he called the learned men of Jerusalem, and they said that it's going to be in Bethlehem, and so on and so forth. And he even said that, okay, you go now, look for the king, the newborn king, and we'll find him. Please tell me, come back here, because I will also come and adore and worship him. But of course, we knew the intention of Herod. He wants to kill the baby. Okay, so now, as I said, Herod is such an insecure ruler that any hint of anything that will endanger his kingship, he will kill them. So, Joseph was instructed by the angel to go to Egypt. It's so dangerous to travel from one place to another, especially to a foreign country unaccompanied. And we can imagine that in the haste of Joseph, Mary, in order to bring the newborn child away from the murderous hands of Herod, they must have fled unprepared and alone, just the two of them together with their child. Now, what is the portrait of Joseph that we can see there? Sometimes we imagine Joseph to be, a very old, frail man. We will discuss that in the later episodes of this series. But we can see here that although Joseph was a humble man, who has no pretensions to the kingship, he is a very courageous man. He did not have any second thoughts to bring Jesus amidst the danger that is waiting for them in Jerusalem, in Bethlehem, and even on the way to Egypt. So we can see here that Joseph was also a courageous man. He stood and underwent all the travails, all the dangers that he will pass through, or rather he will meet as he passed from Israel to Egypt. And even there in Egypt, there must be danger there. But then, he was not afraid to face it. So, what portrait of Joseph, of Saint Joseph, that we can now learn from this story? That he is a courageous man. A humble carpenter, but a courageous man who is ready to protect his family from the dangers of those people who are evil in their hearts. So my dear friends, thank you for staying with me for the past 2 episodes, and look forward for more interesting study in the life of Joseph in the coming episodes, wherein we will be discussing about Joseph and Mary in terms of their relationship as a couple. And we will be discussing that in the third episode. Thank you very much, and God bless us all. Bye-bye.